This is James Scott from DigiChain Capital and Cryptosomniacs. We're here at the offices of Caleb and Brown to talk about OTC trading. We're here with Jackson and Prash. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, do you want to start?
Yeah. Hello everyone, I'm Prash. I'm the CEO of Caleb and Brown, which is a dedicated cryptocurrency brokerage based here in Melbourne. We've been operational for about 2 years currently, and as it stands, we're the largest brokerage in Australia by both trading volume as well as client numbers, which is something we're quite proud of.
Great. And what about this? Can you talk about this?
Yeah, so I'm Jackson Zhang from Caleb and Brown. I run the operations here, and I think in mid this year we went to a conference called the Stockbrokers and Financial Advisors Association conference, and there was a fintech startup pitch competition, and we were lucky enough to win Fintech Startup of the Year, recognized by the financial services industry, which is
that's massive for
from the other side of the fence.
Cryptocurrency or blockchain related company. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
the other side of the fence.
Proud of, yeah.
So you can't technically you were competing against other traditional industries and companies,
and fintech companies of various different forms.
Yeah.
I don't think we went into it expecting that they would award something like this to a cryptocurrency firm. But I think more than anything it was a recognition of the model that we work with here.
Yeah.
Which is that very personalized brokerage model which the financial services industry understands. It's the model that they've always operated by, having wealth managers who assist clients with managing their funds. And so I think it was a similar language. It was a relatable model. It demonstrated trust and security, which is something that's primary concern for the financial services industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Love it. It's great. For people that don't understand OTC, what really is it in essence, and what does it do?
Yeah, so OTC stands for over the counter, and originally how it kind of started is back when people hardly knew what Bitcoin was. Trying to get large amounts of Bitcoin was kind of difficult, and you would need to do an over-the-counter trade, which kind of means just a person-to-person trade.
So the exchanges couldn't handle that liquidity that person might want to trade with, so they'd use an over-the-counter matching system.
Yeah, exactly. So an OTC desk, which is what people trade through these guys, are simply locations where you can buy cryptocurrency with larger volumes. Okay. So if you're in the Australian dollar markets, exchanges used to have quite severe deposit withdrawal limits.
Yeah.
And back then, when you were trying to get $100,000 into Bitcoin, it would be extraordinarily difficult. You would have to, you would just be trying to do it, $1,000 a day for 100 days, and who knew what the price would be by the end of that period. So that's when OTC desks came to be, where we kind of do.
Say it had a substantial amount of Bitcoin that I wanted to sell, and I put it on the exchange. If I started selling it, it's going to just push the price down, isn't it? Yeah. So that's where the OTC comes into effect.
And that number has changed over the years. When we first started out, if you were trying to buy $20,000 off an Australian exchange, you'd be shooting yourself in the foot by the time you bought your $20,000 worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That obviously has changed as the market has enlarged in size.
Deeper order books,
but that same rule still applies. If you're buying large amounts, you're going to shoot yourself because you're making your own order more expensive.
Yeah.
2, you're going to start affecting the market. And particularly when you're talking about OTC desks who are not necessarily doing $20,000, $30,000 transactions, but doing $20, $30 million transactions.
Exactly.
The kind of fluctuations that would cause in the order book is it's more than you can bear, really.
Yeah. Do you think you can say that most Bitcoin trades are done over the counter nowadays? Most of the bigger orders, at least.
So most of the bigger orders are done over the counter, but I wouldn't say that OTC desks make up more trading volume than the exchanges you see on CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, okay.
Predominantly because the exchanges are doing a lot of day trading. So
there's a lot of market makers, and it's just they're just making this volume that
with
isn't
no real
really
end result. It's not a true reflection of the volume.
Yeah,
but if you're actually talking about fresh buyers coming into the market and holding on to assets, particularly at large volumes, I don't think there's any question that most of it will be happening OTC.
And other markets, I don't think people understand that most of the world's financial markets have OTC, and a lot of things are done over the counter. And is that correct?
Yeah, so commodities, it's same thing.
Yeah.
I think every financial market you can analogize to the whole iceberg model. And you have the tip of the iceberg, which is what the world sees, which is what most of the markets see, and that's where a lot of the trading happens. But really the undercurrent, whether that's actual movements of holdings or major decisions, all of that happens under the water. And it's that opaqueness which the financial system has always sort of operated under.
Yeah.
And to an extent, the cryptocurrency system is still beholden to that larger system, because that's the model of financial trading we've always known.
And it's all hidden. Is there any metric that you can see how much is kind of revolving around the OTC market? It's all kind of hidden to each OTC desk. There is no real aggregator. You don't really know how much has been trading. Would you say that?
Yeah, so it's there's no public way to view that data. If you were trying to find out how much volume travels OTC, you would basically need to survey every single OTC desk and ask them how much volume they're doing, because they're kind of like counterparty to counterparty trades with that OTC desk. I think the only kind of reliable indicator for that I've seen publicly so far is from the VanEck ETF application.
Okay.
I believe they surveyed, I think, 7 of the largest OTC desks in the world, and they have an estimation in there, but it's it's a guess.
Yeah, I think that's just how the
We
nature of the beast.
didn't get surveyed. We were very insulted.
Yeah, I'll tell them about that. Is it more institutional buyers, or would you say individuals that are buying OTC?
So
At least from your experience.
yeah, so I can't speak for the entire market because we don't have the data on everyone else.
Yeah.
But the way our business model works is that we are very customer centric, so customer engagement centric. So we end up being we become an attractive service for individuals. Right.
Okay.
While we do have a lot of institutions from within the crypto space that use us, the majority of our clients are retail investors, high net worth investors, and crypto companies, rather than financial industry institutions.
Okay.
However, I am aware that many other desks who kind of focus on those areas do have a large volume from them.
And a lot of that's going to be not necessarily in Australia. Unfortunately, Australia is still a little step behind.
Yeah, a bit more conservative here.
It's still a little more conservative, and definitely on an institutional level.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at North America, for example, the institutions are definitely forging ahead with getting their slice of the pie. Fidelity recently announced that they're starting their own cryptocurrency division, and that's going to pour a huge amount of institutional money or you can be guaranteed that all that's going to happen OTC. That's definitely not passing through exchanges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm waiting for that market cap to go up.
That's true.
All right. Well, what about projects? So they raise a bunch of Ethereum or whatever it may be for their project. Can you help them liquidate and maybe have some treasury management in place, say banking, which can help their roadmap, so they have money available for when they need to meet targets? Is that something you do?
Yeah, so that's kind of our primary service for crypto companies that come to us. What we do is we take a look at the amount of capital they've raised, and then we look at how much they need to be spending over the product delivery roadmap, and then we just schedule installments of payments where they liquidate that crypto that they've raised, whether it's Ethereum, EOS, whether it's in Bitcoin, and we figure out a good strategy for them to do that while reflecting on the performance of the market. So we make sure that we have a strategy in place where if the market goes downhill really fast, we capture enough of the fiat value of it to ensure the delivery of that product.
Okay, great, cool.
I think a lot of ICOs have learnt from past ICOs that were burnt. You have ICOs that raised $20-30 million in Ethereum, held onto it because we all believe in this indefinite nature of the rise of crypto, and refused to liquidate. And we had conversations with ICOs at the time going, are you sure? Are you sure about the strategy? And then now they're faced with, rather than $20 million war chest to play with. You've got a $4 million war chest to play with,
yeah.
and it just makes the whole project become completely unviable, which then feeds into this loop of that project then dwindling further and further and further, and eventual collapse. Thankfully, it seems that a lot of projects have learned from those lessons, and so now we're getting more requests for that more sophisticated, tailored solution to still maintain a mean viable treasury, but at the same time also maximize any potential uptick from a market rise.
So I heard once the Ethereum price went under 500 US, a lot of projects started getting a bit worried and started liquidating, and then there became a trend in that we went down to about 200 in a quick space of time. Did you see that trend? The projects started getting worried and they all started liquidating. I've heard a few stories about that. Have you noticed?
So we don't want to talk about anyone specifically, obviously, but yeah, there are a number of stories. Some
both ways, really.
Yeah.
The ones that did do rush liquidations and are probably thankful for it.
Yeah.
But also the ones who went, when Ethereum price dropped to 20-30% in a number of days, and who went, oh no, we can't liquidate now. We've just gone down 30%. And then we all know what happened.
Yeah, and he's talking about when it was like $1,700.
Yeah.
So eating that 20-30% loss, like in hindsight, would have been fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
And, now
particularly when a lot of them raised at $200, $300, and $400. But greed is a very, very strong motivating emotion.
Yeah, people want exposure to the upside, and you need the risk mitigation. Just the nature of the beast, I think. Yeah.
And again, it's a reflection of the nascent nature of this market. It's a very young industry. We don't understand the market patterns well enough necessarily, but equally a lot of the players in the market, a lot of people who are starting up crypto companies, don't necessarily come from a strong financial background, don't necessarily understand proper technical analysis or trading patterns or trading psychology, and that's really, it's a reflection of that we're seeing a lot of now. Yeah.
Great, cool. What do you think is that? Is there a magic number where have you seen more trades around the 6K? We've seen the 6K level being fought quite substantially, except until today. It was a bad day today for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This is a new low that happened today. So I think we hit 5.3 last time I looked. But anyway, that 6K level was fought quite hard, and I heard stories, OTC buyers, everyone's buying. Did you notice any of that personally? Or did you hear the stories?
So what actually happens is every time it reaches 6K, there will be an influx of OTC buyers. However, that number obviously gradually dwindles. I think if you look back, I think we've hit, including today, I think we've hit it 5 times now, kind of like where the price sharply drops to about the 6K mark. And each time within a 30-day period, we'll see it recover quite dramatically. And historically, that's proven to be quite reliable. So the buyers were coming in, a lot of the OTC buyers were coming in around that 6K mark and then just selling it off as it recovers. But as that, anytime something becomes a pattern, it becomes less profitable to trade because more people pick onto it.
Exactly.
Right.
I've noticed, as a trader, I've noticed that again and again and again. As soon as we might have a strategy that's working, and then as soon as someone puts it on social media, for instance, it's over. So that's just how it is. I'm also hearing sellers aren't giving the discounts like they used to. I could understand at the start of the year prices were high, everyone wants to sell, so they're happy to give a greater discount, let's say 5%, just to get that sell done as soon as possible. What I've been hearing lately is it's so a lot of buyer demand, and so sellers aren't giving the discount that they used to, and a lot of these deals that still have, say, 5% discount are just being shopped around, and never getting filled. Is that what's a normal a possible seller's discount in today's market?
Realistically, these days it doesn't quite work that way. The deals that get shopped around through like LinkedIn, through email networks, through Telegram. I would say 99% of those are not real, because what ends up happening is that the discount that how should I say this? The discount that a seller is willing to pay should be defined by how much the market can take before moving in that before it moves in that direction, right? So if I'm willing to pay a 5% discount, I would do so when if I sold my Bitcoin on the market, it doesn't drop it by more than 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just do it on the market.
Yeah.
These days, the Bitcoin markets have become resilient enough to do so for the majority of transactions. So when buyers are going around saying I want 5% discount on my purchases, realistically, anytime a seller is willing to take that offer, they would have done that on the market already.
Yeah. Okay.
So these deals that get shopped around are kind of offers that market makers give out, and then people push them forward, and they kind of I tell two people to help me look for this deal, and then they tell another two people, and it just becomes this exponential spam
chain of intermediaries shopping around that deal. And often they believe it's real. I've seen them in there. They think it's real, and they shop it around. And I've also heard stories of being shopped around all the way to the guy that offered the deal in the first place. So.
Yeah, and there are times where we've got quite an intense vetting process whenever any OTC deals such as that sort of passed across our table.
Yeah.
And there are some that I've seen delivered to me with what seems like really good documentation, what really seems quite kosher on paper. But once you start doing a little bit of digging, and it helps that because of our experience with doing the vetting, we know exactly what to look for. Then you start to spot holes. But for the uninitiated, and it's very easy to get consumed in the excitement of a potential 5% of a $100 million deal right there, just for making a connection and making a link.
Exactly.
It's very easy to get consumed in that excitement, and hence sort of gloss over the possible holes that are appearing here and there, because it's what you want to see, right?
Exactly.
It's a level of cognitive dissonance that plays into this whole thing.
Well, that's another thing. Some of the biggest people doing charts on TradingView, some of the most popular ones are saying, we're going to the moon, here's the target. And people want to see that, and they're getting the biggest views and follows. Yeah. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. People still want to see John McAfee eat his proverbial. Yeah.
When's that going to happen? At the end of the year, isn't it?
Well.
Yeah. Okay, so about let's elaborate a bit more on that. So if you have a big deal coming, will you sell it on the exchange? So you have a big sell order come in, will you sell that on exchange, or will you match it with buyers? Because I believe if you sell it on the exchange, it's unethical, it's going to push the market down.
Not. So what happens is OTC desks like ourselves, we trade between each other. Yeah. And it ends up being like, you can think of it as a number of funds that will take a certain position. And when a large order comes into us, what we do is we chop it up into, like, say we're trading with 5 other desks, we'll chop it up into 5 pieces, and we'll trade with them using the market price as a benchmark for how we will price the trades between ourselves.
Yeah. And there are multiple different ways to dispose of the coins perhaps that come to us. So one could be trading with other OTC desks, various liquidity pools. We may have buyers ready-made who are waiting. So that's one way to offload them. So there are multiple ways to skin the OTC cat. So
So I've been hearing a lot of talk, especially before, about the OTC, Mt. Gox Bitcoin. What they're going to do with that? Are they going to sell it on the exchange? Or are they going to do it? Because a lot of people, even when they first started talking about that, people weren't really aware of OTC. They're a bit more savvy now. Yeah. But there's been talk of, I think they're having another auction coming up. I heard rumours of, so people get worried.
You're right. There was a lot of fear, and that we saw that in the price fluctuations, dropping the price as the sort of the news spread that there could be a huge influx of Bitcoin entering the market, and understandably so. But
the likelihood is that will just be traded OTC and it'll go into someone's cold storage probably, and it won't hit the market.
absolutely.
Yeah, for portions of it, but at the end of the day, when you're trading with a lot of counterparties, some of us will be plugged into 40 exchanges, and we might say, look, at this price, I can trade 80% of it with the other desks, and 20% of it I'm going to split up into a lot of tiny chunks, and they will all go out to 40 exchanges, but we just sell it all at the same time. So it can impact the market. Because at the end of the day, every fund is also a market maker who then have to profit on each trade.
Yeah, okay.
So it minimizes the impact, but it will likely still have an impact.
Yeah.
The I guess the positive I put onto that is that the difference between an individual who suddenly has a large amount of Bitcoin or crypto and they need to dispose of suddenly, the temptation would be to set lower and lower price points to get rid of it. Whereas if you've got a brokerage or an OTC desk or a fund which has far more holding power, they have the capacity to, rather than drop the price, market make it slightly elevated prices because they have that holding power, and therefore the possibility to personally increase their profit, but as a service to the community or something that profits the entire ecosystem, it doesn't drop the price as much as if an individual was doing it completely rogue.
Yeah, great, cool. Okay, Prash, can you give a rundown of the services and where people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess our major value proposition is that we've got quite a unique white glove type service model. So every client gets a personal broker who takes them through the entire cryptocurrency journey. So from education to wallet setup and security, to large volume buys, sells sort of instantly at a spot price. We've got an analyst team that puts out market analysis, allowing for ongoing diversification opportunities. And we've got an in-house accountant that does crypto tax consultancy for people who want to invest their self-managed super funds into cryptocurrency.
Okay.
We do allow that provision, allowing people to put crypto into the SMSF. So the idea is that it's an all-inclusive cradle-to-grave solution for one's cryptocurrency needs.
Yeah, everything.
Cool. And so we're very happy to hear from you, naturally. You can find us on our website, www.calebandbrown.com, or you can just look that up, Caleb and Brown Cryptocurrency Brokerage. There's a sign-up form on our website, or just send through a request and one of our brokers will be in touch with you within the day. Yeah,
how many people on the team?
We've got 9 people in the team at the moment,
okay.
So it's enough to cater for anyone.
Yeah, quite large,
who comes through. Yeah, absolutely.
Expansion in the future?
Always expansion in the future.
Yeah.
About 1/3 of our clients are international, predominantly North American, and the rest are very much Asia Pacific, predominantly Australian. But we are definitely expanding out into the international market.
Great. Cool.
Again, I think the bulk of our exposure within Australia is Melbourne, Sydney, major cities. But particularly for people who are in regional areas and who are not in Melbourne and Sydney, we'd love to hear from you. We'd like to expand our reach out into the rest of Australia as well.
Yeah, so there's no age limit?
Our oldest client is 75. Wanted to give you an award just for that.
No, we've actually had 91.
Really? Oh, breaking news.
Yeah, that should be a BFR.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Anyway.
I think...
So come all,
Well, there you've heard it here, with a great pedigree as well. Good to have someone in my backyard as yourselves, and look forward to the future.
Cheers.
Well,
Thanks,
James.
James.
Thank you very much.
There you go.